My son just got done with his swim lessons, about a year and a half old. He got a ribbon for floating on his back for a minute. For those of you parents out there who have put their kids through swim lessons, you realize that's not really like a huge brag. I mean, that's not a big deal. These kids, they're born with like being able to swim. So I'm not trying to do that. I really try hard not to brag about my kids because I have a Down syndrome brother, and I can't imagine what it would be like for other parents with special needs or kids that don't have milestones to brag about, how they would feel about, it's already hard enough to raise special needs kids or kids that are going through issues. It's much easier if you didn't have other parents like showing off with their kids. So I try consciously not to do it. My point is he got a ribbon for it, which is like probably the original gamification of doing something. It's not like digital. There's not score points and things like Duolingo does and all that, which is a great app. But I bring that up simply to say this, is you can look to gamify things. You can look to gamify your business, your processes, even if it's not technologically based. You can do something like ribbons. My kid loved his ribbon. He was holding it. It was like the best thing in the world. And as parents, you love when your kids love things. And it was just a win, win, win for everyone. The third win is for the swim instructor who is going to get repeat business. This is How to Build a Tent. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for listening to the show. And for all the newcomers, I got a tweet this week, that another one. I love these so much. It was, I didn't give you a chance, and then I just happened to give you a chance for some reason, and now I love the show. So all of you who never gave me a chance and then decided to give me a chance and now love the show, a special welcome to you. We are part of the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Over to HtBT in the memo field. Oh, put HtBT in the memo field. If I'm going to do sped up language, I need to be able to say it accurately. And you'll get a 15-ounce mug. You'll get a pint glass. You'll get tons of great benefits. And plus, you'll be helping proclaim the Lordship of Jesus in every area of life, keeping us all on the air and helping you fight, laugh, and feast as well. Don't forget about the book club. We're going to be talking about negotiating. Go follow the link below and get in on that. You have a month right now. So get your book, start reading it. I just started reading it. I am on a plane traveling for the next 3 days or the last 3 days, depending on when you hear this. So I'm going to have a lot of time to read. I'm really excited about it. And it's going to be an opportunity for you guys to get experience with meetings online, for you to be able to learn how to negotiate. We need to negotiate in every area of our life. There's always negotiations going, buying a car, buying a house, hopefully not with your teenagers. There's always opportunities to negotiate. And so we're going to talk about that from an FBI perspective. He was a hostage and a negotiator. I'm really excited to check that out. So it's about a month away. Get in, sign up, get the book, start reading. You can get all the info below in the show notes. What else is there to talk about? If you want to reach out to me, you can find me at matt@howtobuildatent.com. You can email me. No, that is email me. You can find me on the social media sites, How to Build a Tent. One of the things that could be either scary, hilarious, or terrifying is when Facebook gives you the, hey, 8 years ago, or hey, 10 years ago, this happened. And sometimes it can be an embarrassing picture. Sometimes it could be a really stupid comment, or sometimes it could just be pure gold. I don't know what this one is, but 10 years ago, September 18, 2010, I got this memory. The city of LA, now 2010, 2 years, year and a half after the financial crisis, 2008, 2009, the world is going to a really deep, dark place. Well, I don't know. Is hell a dark place, or is it really bright because it's on fire and like lava in a pit of sulfur? I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. The city of LA reported receiving $111 million of stimulus that went around. They created 55 jobs. For you math majors out there, you know that is $2 million a job. LA got $111 million to save 55 jobs. That's what big government gives you. But even deeper than that, that is what happens when we trust the government to solve our problems. $111 million for 55 jobs. Wouldn't those 55 jobs whoever they are, wouldn't they have just rather taken $2 million? I would have. I would have gladly taken $2 million in exchange for retiring, for giving up on my job, whatever it is, especially these construction jobs. Well, you're making $100,000. I would take 20 years of a salary and be on my merry way. Be on my merry way. But the deeper thought about this that we really need to remember is that sin has consequences that are deeper and more devastating than they appear at first. I think it was C.S. Lewis who talks about this. But the pleasures of sin always seem so great. That's what makes us commit them. But the consequences of it are always worse than whatever initial pleasure that we get from this sin. And when we give away our freedoms, when we give away responsibility, when we say, I'm not going to handle owning, taking care, or helping through charity my neighbor, I'm going to let the government do it. Raise my taxes, take over my healthcare industry, take over student loan debt, all of these things that just might sound good. I don't have to deal with it. You deal with it, and just raise my taxes a little bit so I don't even have to think about it. I can go on my merry way. But what is dangerous about this is not just the staggering statistic. And for all of you who are those who want to see the fact checking, I did go back and fact check it. It's a Fox News article. You can just Google LA $111 million in stimulus saved just 55 jobs. It was updated last in 2015, initially published in 2010. This math leads to destruction. $111 million for 55 jobs. That is an equation for poverty. Do you want to know how we become Venezuela? I've been talking about this a lot because it's important, and that's what we're going to be voting on in a year. That's what you're voting for if you're voting for Elizabeth Warren, for Bernie Sanders, for any of the Democrats. Anyone who's wanting to increase, and maybe some Republicans, let's be honest. Anyone who wants to increase government, who wants to expand government's responsibilities outside of their area. You're asking for $111 million spent on 55 jobs. And what is happening is millions and millions of Americans are paying for 55 people. That's how societies become impoverished. That's how you lose 17 pounds a year on average for your population. That's how stores are cleared out and no longer produce food. It's because the government makes decisions like this, because they're not making decisions on creating wealth. They can't create wealth. They are making decisions on what is going to empower the lawmakers, what's going to empower the politicians, not what's best for you. There is only a small group of people that want what's best for you. And most of them are in the Christian church, including the head Jesus. Outside of that, people are looking out for themselves. It goes back to that stacked deck comment we talked about before. There's no neutrality. We are playing with or against a stacked deck. And we need to realize that, and we need to be wise. Or we're going to continue to fund, we're going to continue to empower government decisions that spend $111 million on 55 jobs. I wish the world was different, but it's not. Okay. I saw another statistic. I see this a lot in real estate because there's a strong correlation to education and the ability to have disposable income and to attain housing. First-time home buyers. The higher the education, there's stronger correlation there is for a first-time home buyer. But what drives me nuts about these statistics is they talk about how much the median household income is without high school education, with high school education, with a college degree, without a college degree, specifically a bachelor's usually. Sometimes you see them with the higher graduate degrees and things like that. What is it? They say usually the median income of a bachelor's household income is $86,600. The millennials with a graduate degree is like $100,000, so 6 figures. But there's a few things that they don't account for, which leads to dangerous thinking. Because what this tells you when you read these stats is, the more education you have, the higher your household income is. And the more you can afford, the more likely you are to buy a house. So the real estate industry is, get educated. But this is a few things. And I hope they're like the red flags are starting to stick out. The questions are starting to come to your mind about the danger of these statistics. Is one, they don't differentiate between which degrees are earning the high income. The thing about averages is it's a bell curve, which means there's extremes that can affect the average, and then there's the middle. So it's not just get an education in an art and then you'll get 6 figures. It's the engineering degrees. It's the successful lawyers that are going to the top 5% of schools. It's the business degrees. It's the practical STEM degrees, the education tracks. They're skewing the numbers towards them because they make us so much more than everyone else. The second thing is when they say household income, they don't say if it's one income or 2 incomes. That is, if the father and the mother or husband and the wife are both working. They don't mention that either. And then they don't mention how much student debt is taken in, which is the cost. You're talking about the benefits without the cost. So you don't know the value. And how can you make a decision without knowing the value? If you are bribed with saying, here's $1 million, but it costs $2 million to get the $1 million, you don't want the $1 million. So if you can make 6 figures, but you're in $500,000 of student loan debt, why do you want the $100,000? It would be better for you to go to a trade school, not get that median income range, not be in that peer group, and be making $80,000 without $500,000 student loan. You're going to pay $500,000 for a job that will give you $20,000 more a year? It's lunacy. And these statistics push us as a society into being poorer as well. It's got to stop, guys. We got to be wiser. We got to be smarter. All right, sign up for that book club. Go out, be successful, and we'll talk to you next week, this Friday. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you Monday. God bless.